Welcome back. For this week's Mending Monday segment, presented by our sponsor, Save the Michaels, I'm joined by Dr. Rick Blondell from UB's Jacobs School of Medicine. Hi, thank you for joining me, Doctor.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, I want to start off because you are a nationally recognized expert on substance abuse, so I'd like for you to tell us about your experience and the work that you've done for those who suffer with addiction.
Well, part of what we've done is provide treatment options for people who are suffering from addiction. So those people who are already addicted, try to pick the appropriate place to put them for some sort of treatment to get their addiction disease under control. And we also want to explain to physicians, younger physicians who are coming up through the ranks, about the role that physicians play in causing the problem and also fixing the problem.
Yeah, I'm glad you talk about that because you've done a lot of work in training the next generation of doctors and helping them treat and prevent addiction. So can you walk us through what that training looks like and the kinds of treatments that you encourage people to do as opposed to opioid prescriptions?
Well, just a little timeline of what happens to physicians. So they go to college, graduate from college, then go to medical school for 4 years. And typically the first 2 years are book learning and the last 2 years are patient care. So what we've done is, at least at UB, is that the third year students get some formal education and younger students get some formal education with like slides and lectures and that sort of thing. And then in their fourth year, they can take an elective in addiction and actually go to treatment centers to learn about methadone maintenance and the management of chronic pain and women who are pregnant who are addicted and that sort of thing. Then they go off after they graduate from medical school, 4 years then, they get up to 3 years or more of, at least 3 years or more of training after that graduate medical education. And some of the training then of how to take care of people with addiction is integrated into that. And then finally, after they've done their residency, so 4 years of med school, 3 years of residency or more, after that they can do a 1-year fellowship in addiction medicine. And that's where we came in to play here in Buffalo, because the team here was responsible for helping to set up training programs across the country to train physicians who have finished their primary specialty to do a fellowship in addiction medicine.
Wow. Okay, so what are you talking what are you talking about with the students about? Just, there seems to be a heavy wave of doctors. The go-to thing is you call something's wrong, okay, here's a prescription, especially so easily with opioids.
Right.
So what do you say to these students about other alternatives that they can do to, help people with their pain, but also not lead them down a path of addiction?
Right. So people who become dependent on opioid drugs are a challenge, particularly if they have chronic pain. So we teach people how to manage those people who you ordinarily might give opiates to, how to prescribe sort of alternatives that are not quite as addictive and so forth. And then we train them with physical therapy modalities to also help with that, so stretching exercises and whatnot.
How impactful are organizations like Save the Michaels and the work that they've been doing, would you say?
Well, Save the Michaels fills a little gap in our treatment strategy. So from the time maybe somebody's identified as having an addiction problem to the time they're entering in treatment, there's that transition period where the families need support, the patient might need transportation from here to there and so forth. And that's where Save the Michaels come in, sort of in filling that gap in between the initial recognition of a problem and actually the entering the treatment program for the problem.
So it's huge. What is one thing you would like people to understand about addiction?
The one thing I'd like people to understand about addiction is it's not a moral failing, it's not a criminal activity, it is a medical condition. And we know that this primarily is based on genetics. So there's genes up in the brain that get turned on, turned off, and so forth. And that's what drives addiction. And so that change in the brain function is not going to be fixed by a jail sentence. It's not going to be fixed by Bible thumping. It's going to be fixed by addressing the underlying problem, which is becoming more and more a medical-related problem.
And that's what you are teaching the next generation of students to do?
Correct.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Doctor, and most importantly, thank you for the work that you've done in our community and for the next generations of our doctors. Viewers, if you would like more information on everything our sponsors at Save the Michaels does for our community, just visit savethemichaels.org. Thanks again for coming in.
Thank you.